quick reminder that I have a poetry book. I have a poetry book. It's called The Many Shades of Flowers. The Many Shades of Flowers. It's got 40 love poems. It's got 40 love poems. It's got 40 love poems. It's $1. It is $1, guys. So the link is in the description if you want to check that out. I'd greatly appreciate anybody who checks that out. The link is in the description. Leave me 5 stars as well. I'd really appreciate a 5-star rating. It'll help promote the books. Thank you and thank you. Okay. I'm enjoying One Piece right now. I'm enjoying One Piece. I'm in like episode 700 and something. I'm not sure, but it's good. It's good so far, and I'm learning about Sanji's backstory. Spoiler alert! I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so you know, you've been warned. You've been warned. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! But yeah, just learning about his childhood and his family, the Vinsmoke family. I didn't know that he came from a royal family, but he was kind of booted out because he was kind of the runt of the family. He was inadequate in the eyes of his father, so eventually he was kind of... First of all, they imprisoned him, which is crazy. They threw him in a jail cell because they just felt like he was just a failure. And so they threw him in a jail cell because they literally they didn't want to see him or be around him. So they just like throw him in a dungeon. And then eventually, things just got so terrible for him, he was forced to flee. And his father caught him fleeing. And he said, you know, you're my son, so I didn't, even though you're a failure, I didn't have it in me to kill you. But it's nice that you're willing to leave my sight all on your own. It's nice that you're willing to run away without me having to chase you. So get lost, which was, you know, heartbreaking. It was very terrible. You know, his brother used to beat him up like very badly, like really go to town on him. And his sister would be there to catch him up. But his sister, like, I feel like they're trying to paint her as this nice person who just didn't want to get involved, because, you know, she'd be laughing with the brothers when they were mocking Sanji or picking on him or just straight up beating him up. And her excuse was like, I didn't want them to pick on me, so I just went along with it, right? But then they show us these scenes of her tending to his wounds when no one else is around and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just like, that's not enough for me. I feel like she's still a terrible person, just because you have to understand the sort of stuff you're subjected to. It was terrible. And she was right there with the other people laughing at him, mocking him. You know? So you're not there when it really counts to protect him. And she's like the oldest of the group, right, of siblings. She's the oldest one. So, you know, it's kind of a responsibility to protect, but she abdicated her role completely. Well, not completely, but again, where it counts, she was completely absent. It's unbelievable. And she maintained that same trait throughout her adulthood. So you could say, oh, she was a child, and that would be an excuse. But even when she grew up, she could have fled with Sanji. When he wanted to flee, she could have fled with him and joined him. at sea, where he eventually became a cook on this restaurant on the sea. At this restaurant on the sea. But she stayed with that evil family. Like, guys, that family is genuinely evil. Like, you don't understand. They're seriously evil. They conduct these weird science experiments with the cloning humans. They beat on their servants and they kill people. They do all sorts of terrible, terrible things. Like, they're very, very evil. And she's stuck around for all of that. So it's like, at some point, the excuses run out. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you're complicit. You're part of the problem. Because you didn't have the spine to stand up and say no. So she can kick rocks. So Sanji fled. But he was forced to return like a decade plus later because of extenuating circumstances, basically. But by then he's joined Luffy's pirate crew and stuff. He's got good things going for him, but now he's forced to he's being forced to leave his friends that he's made. These are like real friends. They're nothing like his family who tortured him and treated him like absolute trash his whole childhood. Well, for a significant portion of his childhood. He met Luffy, who was a genuine person who actually loves him, and all these other people who are his real family. Like, they actually care for him and are willing to die for him and all these sort of things. But his family emerged out of nowhere after like a decade plus of not communicating with him, and said, you need to marry this person because we need to establish a political alliance with their family and yada yada yada. So you need to leave your little pirate crew behind and join us. And if you refuse, we're going to kill your friends, and we're going to kill your adopted father, basically, and all these sort of things. So they threaten him, right? And he's forced to leave. He's forced to leave. And he's pretty cryptic about the details. He doesn't tell his friends exactly why he's leaving. Communication is key in relationships. But yeah, he doesn't tell his friends why he's leaving. I guess he wants to protect them, whatever. You know, the usual reasons people have for keeping secrets. They don't trust their friends with the truth. But Luffy shows up while Sanji's on his way to the castle where he's gonna get married. Luffy shows up to speak to Sanji and whatnot, and Sanji's with his family in a carriage. They're being driven to the castle, and Sanji's brothers are like, we're gonna take care of him, don't worry about it. And Sanji's like, no, I'll take care of it. So he starts speaking harshly to Luffy, saying, get out of here, you low-class pirate, yada yada yada. It's a front. He's just trying to hurt Luffy's feelings. So Luffy's like, fuck this guy, I misread him. I guess I was wrong about our friendship. I'll just leave you alone then with your little royal family. So Sanji's intentionally being cruel to hopefully scare Luffy away and whatnot. But the thing about Luffy is he sees through all that nonsense. Like, so this is the part that made me like almost cry. Like, guys, it hit me so hard. And One Piece has a lot of moments like this, and Luffy's such a great character because he's so loyal and kind and loving, right? So Sanji's saying all these things to Luffy, just telling him to get lost, get away from me, all these years I've been spending in your crew. I think he's been part of Luffy's crew for 2 or 3 years or something. I think it's been 3 years, I'm not sure at this point. He's like, all this time I've been spending with your crew, I've been fronting, I've been looking down on you because I'm actually from a royal family and you didn't know that. And you know, I actually don't like hanging out with y'all, and now I'm getting married to this beautiful woman and my family's gonna take care of me, so you need to get lost. I don't want to spend any more time with you. I've had my fun, but it's time for you to get lost. And Luffy's just like, no, I refuse. I don't believe what you're saying right now. So Sanji is just like, okay, that's the words aren't working, so I'm gonna have to beat him up. So he starts beating Luffy up, and Luffy refuses to fight back. He refuses to lift a finger because he just wants to talk. Sanji's like going to town, dude. He's just beating Luffy up. Nami, who's a part of Luffy's crew, this girl, she's like begging Sanji to stop. Luffy tells her to shut up. He's like, this is a duel, you know, it's a face-off. It's like, this is a very intense moment right now, and there's no time for like crying and all this yapping. He's like, leave us alone. This is between me and him. So he's just taking the punishment, right? But then he says something. He says to Sanji, like, you're hitting me really hard and you're doing all this stuff, but even though it's you hitting me, I know that you're the one getting hurt the most. And it was such a powerful line, right? Like, I know it's hurting you more than it's hurting me. And like, you just see Sanji's face like break a little bit, like you see the emotion showing his face, and I was just like, bro, like, no wait. At that point, Sanji had finished beating Luffy up. He pummeled him into the ground, right, and left him in the ground, and told him like, don't come after me. And then he went back into the carriage, and the carriage started riding off. And then Luffy got up and started shouting as the carriage was driving away, like, I know it hurts you more than it hurts me. And then like Sanji was in the carriage, so Luffy couldn't see his face. Sanji was in the carriage and he started crying. Like real tears. You know, like ugly crying, like when your face starts twisting, crying, snot's coming out your nose. He just started bawling, dude. And I was just like, fuck, bro. It was such an emotional moment. Because it was so painful. And then Luffy said, like, I'm going to wait right here on this exact spot, and I know you're gonna come back eventually, because you know, the whole premise of the show is that Luffy wants to become the king of the pirates. That's the whole premise of the show. He's on this quest to become king of the pirates, and he managed to assemble a crew of people that believe in him. It's a small crew, but they all believe in the vision, and they're all helping him to get there. And he's just dead set on this goal. But he shouts to Sanji, he's like, I can't do this journey without you. Like, you specifically, like, if you are not with me, I can't become king of the pirates. And the way he said it was more eloquent and emotional than that, but well, there's nothing eloquent about the way Luffy speaks, but you know, it just hit harder the way he said it. And bro, when he said that line, like everything goes silent, and you just see Sanji's reaction to it while he's in the carriage and whatnot. He's just crying. It was so emotional. I was just like, wow. Like, Luffy's a real one, man. Luffy's such a G. So he just has a way of seeing into the heart of his friends. Like, he knows that the homie is going through something and that he doesn't mean what he's saying. Like, Sanji doesn't mean what he's saying, and there's something going on there. So he refuses to budge. He refuses to leave. He's like, I'm not going anywhere because I know you. And it's beautiful because, you know, before then he'd fought an enemy. Luffy had fought an enemy that had said that Sanji is going to tell you this and that. Like, he doesn't want to be around you because you're pirates and he's royalty and all these sort of things. But Luffy refuses to believe what anyone else says because he knows Sanji. He spent real time with him. It's only been 2 or 3 years, but they've been through a lot together. It's not about the amount of time, it's about the quality of time that you've spent with someone, you know, and they've been through unbelievable things together. So he knows him very intimately. So he knows when he's lying and he knows when something's going on. So he's just like, as your friend, I can't abandon you in this crucial moment, and I don't want to continue this journey without you. Like, there's no king of pirates without Sanji, you know. So he was, it was such a bro. I really wanted to cry, man. I was just like, fuck. One Piece just always pushes me to the edge, bro, when it comes to like my emotions. I never quite get there, but it pushes me close. It pushes me close. Like, damn, you can feel the tears brimming in your eyes. Like, wow, this is crazy. I remember like the Nico Robbins scene when she was basically being held hostage by Cypher Pole. It was a similar situation where they're blackmailing her and holding her captive. Like, if you have to join us, or we're gonna kill your friends, or yada yada yada. And then Luffy was like, he said to her like, he was basically standing some distance away. She was standing with the enemy, and Luffy was standing on the opposite side. And there was like a bridge. There was like some water between them or something. Like they were in a castle or something. Like I can't remember the exact scenario. I'm trying to set up the image. But anyway, they were standing opposite, and Luffy just shouted at her like, he's basically, I'm paraphrasing, I'm just summing up what he was saying. I don't care what these people say. I don't care what anyone says. I'm asking you specifically. He's talking to Robert. I'm asking you specifically. And I'm not going anywhere until I get your answer. Do you want to be free or not? Do you want to be with us or not? Because you've said this and you've said that, but I don't believe you. I want a real answer. I think he also, do you want to live? Or something like that. Because I think she was like basically throwing her life away, working for these, because they're very evil people as well. Right? So he just asked her like, basically, do you want to be free? And then it was such a vulnerable moment because she felt so helpless. Because it was also like a government organization, very, very powerful. They have pulled so many strings. And it was genuinely a situation where she, like, I understand her predicament, where she's like, if I give in to my desire to want to be to my friends, I could genuinely get them killed. Like, this is the government, it's the world government, and they're very, very powerful, and the resources have no end, and they can call on all sorts of powerful people to take care of Luffy and all sorts of things like that. So she was acting out of self-sacrifice, but in that moment he also like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Forget about what you think is the right thing to do and yada yada. Like, what do you actually want? Do you want to live? Do you want to be free and all these sort of things? And then she started crying. And then she's with the guys. She's with the government agency, the Cypher Pole is what they're called. And she starts crying, and then she just screams like, yes! It was so fire. And then Luffy, like, I think it was such a powerful moment. I'm getting emotional just there. I'm getting goosebumps. And then Luffy points to his sniper. He tells his sniper to shoot the flag of the government. And then they shoot the flag, and then he basically declares war on them. He's like, we're coming to get you. Because again, they were quite a distance apart. So he couldn't just get to her immediately. He's like, we're coming for you. We're gonna rescue you. It was so deep, bro. It was so powerful. It was such a powerful moment. So yeah, that show has a lot of. I could keep going. It has a lot of moments like that really like they push you to the brink of tears. The brink of tears. So I'm enjoying myself. Definitely. Anyway. Shout out One Piece. It's a phenomenal show. Luffy is a phenomenal character. And yeah. It's a fun time. By the way, I think my PS4 controller has stick drift. It does. Not I think it does have stick drift, because I noticed my camera start, like when I'm playing a game, the camera will start moving by itself. I'm like, oh fuck, I got stick drift. If you don't know, stick drift is when your one of your analog sticks moves by itself. So typically in games, your right analog controls the camera in the game. So like when you're controlling a character, you move the character with the left stick, and the right stick controls the camera. The camera basically controlling your point of view. So if it's first person, you're seeing from the character's point of view, like through their eyes. So you won't see their body. It'll literally like you're looking out of their eyes. The same way you see, like you see from a first person perspective, right? You don't. Third person would be zooming out. You can see your whole body, and it's almost like over the top kind of perspective, right? Almost. It can be over the shoulder as well. Stuff like that. The game I'm playing is third person. So with stick drift, my right analog is stick drift, and the camera will just be like, if I nudge it towards the right, if I nudge the stick towards the right, the camera will just start spinning clockwise. After like, and then you have to fidget with the analog again to stop it from doing that. I think stick drift is pretty easy to fix. I remember watching a video back in the day, because I think one of my PlayStation 3 controllers had stick drift, and I had to open it up, and I fixed the issue. It really isn't that complicated. You just have to open it up with a screwdriver, and there's some part you have to clean or move around or something like that, and then the issue is solved. If people just learn how to use a screwdriver, you can save yourself money, because sometimes people pay people to fix the stick drift issue. They'll go to some person and pay them a lot of money, but it's such a simple job that gets done and that can be completed in a few minutes. So it's not worth paying someone to do. It's better to just watch a video and figure it out yourself. I don't think stick drift is that complicated of a issue to fix. But it is annoying that I am experiencing this right now. I'm getting a PS5 in October. I'm on track, saving money. I think October I'll have one. Come October, for sure. October 23rd I'll purchase one. And then first game I'll get Spider-Man 2. Then I'll get Metal Gear Solid Delta. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. IGN, they released a gameplay preview or whatnot, I don't know. And they're just saying the game is too faithful. The remake is too faithful to the original, which is such an absurd take. But then again, it's IGN releasing it. These people are clowns. They're just, bro, like, it used to be like a major publication that people respected, and over the years they've just gotten worse and worse and worse with their reviews and opinions, and people are just like, these people are just not for the culture, right? They're not to be taken seriously in this gaming space. But you know, back in the day when someone says, "Oh, I work for IGN," it used to be such an amazing thing. Now it's like if you say you work for IGN, people are like, it's just, that doesn't sound the same anymore. Now it's like, damn, why? You know, it's embarrassing. It's to the point where you maybe shouldn't say that out loud. I mean, look. Yeah, nah. It just doesn't sound the same anymore, bro. Doesn't sound the same anymore. Anyway, they were saying it's too faithful to the original game. They were saying it's the same game with better graphics and gameplay, which people are like, exactly, that's what a remake is supposed to be. I think the thing about remaking original titles is that the job is actually, if you think about it, quite simple. Yes, I'm sure a lot of hard work goes into it, and you want to put in effort to make it as nice as possible. But the actual job is actually what you have to do is simple. The story has been written. You don't need to change the story. You have the original dialogue. You have all the boss battles, all the levels. Everything has been laid out for you. You just have to make it look better and tighten some of the controls. That's it. The issue with some remakes, what people try and do is they try and spice things up and remix things and add things that weren't there before and so on and so forth. And that's how you end up with a situation where people are like, this is not the game I remember playing and I hate this. It's too risky. Like, you don't want to take too many liberties. Now, with Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 remakes, apparently they did add minor things to the game. Nothing with regards to story or anything like that, but like, for example, like there's a police station level where, because of limited hardware back in the day, when you're playing it on PS1, for example, if you want to enter a different part of the police station, a loading screen would pop up, right? Because they have to load that environment. Now with the remake, what they did is they just made it one open environment and there's no loading screens and stuff like that, and you can just walk throughout the police station and whatnot. So they had to add certain parts to the police station that weren't there before. So they did add parts of the game that weren't in the original game. They added parts to the game that weren't in the original. But it's such minor stuff that it's like, it's not changing the story, it's not changing the fundamental experience, right? With Metal Gear, there are loading screens. It pretty much kept the exact same layout. It didn't do what Resident Evil did in terms of adding parts to the map so that it's one seamless map and you don't have to have loading screens. So that's one gripe IGN had with the remake, which to me is like, it's not that big of a deal, especially with like the console loading times, rather. Like, you don't have to wait that long for these environments to load because of the new hardware in these consoles, right? You wait a few seconds. So it's not that big of a deal, guys. The original game is what people want. They just want to experience that world again with better graphics and tighter controls. That's literally it. Like, all this other fancy smanchy like, it doesn't matter. All this other stuff, like, so I think IGN is crazy, because you know what, if one of the studio heads that's making the game, he said, like, when we were tackling this project initially, we asked ourselves, do we rebuild the game entirely from scratch in order to add certain things and so on and so forth, or do we just work with what we have currently and just build on top of that? And they said ultimately we decided to just build on top of what's already there, because if we build everything from scratch, if we just start from absolutely nothing and build up from there, we run the very serious risk of changing fundamental elements. So we decided not to do that, which is a wise decision, because you have to understand Metal Gear is a beloved franchise. It is the holy grail of gaming. Like it's up there, man, with regards to the best games of all time. It is so good, and you don't want to mess with. There are a few franchises you don't mess with when it comes to this remake stuff. You have to get it right, or else the fans are going to destroy you. And Metal Gear is one of them. So they're setting the tone for the other remakes. You know, they can learn. The whole loading screen thing, and maybe in the next remake they can sort that out and maybe do what Resident Evil did. Maybe they don't have to. I don't think people will care that much. It's not that deep. But they could. They can learn from people's reception, and the fans can give tips and maybe do this, maybe do that. But I think the primary thing to get right is being faithful to the original game and just providing better graphics, better gameplay controls. if you can get those fundamental things right, the fans will be very, very, very happy, man. They'll be very happy to dive back into that world and experience it in this modernized aesthetic with modern control schemes. I think people will be very, very happy about that. And you win. You will win. It's not hard, guys. Like, the fundamental job. It's actually not. If you've got a great budget and you can hire very qualified people, it's actually not that deep. Because you're not writing a new story. You're not creating new characters. You're not creating new environments. You know, like, so your job is actually quite simple. I'm sure the execution can be, might require a lot of effort, but again, like I said, what you have to do is pretty basic, like fundamental. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want to play Black Myth Wukong. I'm hearing great things about that, so I'm looking forward to that. And Death Stranding 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I'd want to play. I don't know if I'm gonna play Elden Ring. I'll be honest, I never understood the Elden Ring hype. I've watched a lot of gameplay footage, and it just doesn't seem like my cup of tea. It doesn't seem like something I would personally enjoy. But maybe it's one of those games you have to play to really understand. But from what I've seen, it doesn't look like my cup of tea. I guess I have my own type of games that I'm super into. But yeah, anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you hanging out. That's a prayer and over my videos. Father God, thank you for this individual watching us right now. Thank you for making them whole, unique, and guiding on the path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this person with wonderful people in their life who love them, take care of them, and bring the absolute best out of them. And thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with love and marriage, and sustaining their love and marriage, and making it very, very happy. Thank you for blessing this person with a spirit of gratitude so that they can give thanks for all the wonderful things in their life. And by giving thanks, they can find peace, contentment, and attract even more blessings. Let your presence be felt in this person's life, so that you realize that your God, that you realize that you love them, and you're always going to be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness over this person and everyone they care about. In my name I pray, in Jesus' name I pray. Amen and amen.